What's up, YouTube fans? Today, we're going to take a look at the HeatBoys Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mecha Michaelangelo. So this was sent to me by Tim R. from the Transformers Underground Facebook group. Really cool group. I'm actually part of it. They do games and giveaways, and you should check them out. I'll put the link in the description below. But thanks to Tim for allowing me to take a look at his copy. And I was really excited about this because I heard good things. This is actually the third in a series of figures from HeatBoys. The first one was Leonardo. The second one was Raphael, which hasn't come out yet, so they released them a little bit out of order. And then the third one here is Michelangelo. So I'm going to be getting number 4, which is Donatello. He's my favorite. But right now we're going to take a look at this guy. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of accessories, a lot of features. So I'm going to try to move as quickly as possible so this is not such a long review. And also try to keep my opinions towards the end. But it is very challenging for me to keep from gushing about this guy because it really is an incredible figure. But let's start by taking a look at the details on this guy. There's a lot of paint and tampos. So you can see pretty much 100% painted. He is almost 100% die-cast. Very, very heavy figure. And I know someone's going to ask, so let's take a quick weight on this guy. So he comes in at 1 pound, 12 ounces, or for international folks, 800 grams. So pretty heavy guy. 1 pound, over a pound, almost 2 pounds. Just this guy, and that's without the shell and any of the accessories. But you can see lots of nice detail and paint. Tampos, little tampos TMNT-03. It says Mikey over here and number 3. One way, kind of like a sign in New York City. Over here it says TMNT-03, 03. Nice big gold M on his belt buckle. Says NYC here. I love that. Kind of done in, a tagging graffiti style. Little tampos here. 03 TMNT. More tampos here on the feet. Coming to the side. Got this detail here. 03, 03. Gold, gray, silver, light green, dark green, orange. I mean, there's no lack of paint and detail. On the back, it does say 2023 Viacom, so I guess they own the rights to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And that's why their name is on here. I thought it was Nickelodeon, but maybe Viacom owns Nickelodeon. But either way, I wanted to show you this before we got this guy fully, armed up with his shell, because there's some detail here that gets covered once you put the shell on. So this is a kind of a plain back, but let's just show you that. So if you come to the front, we'll go through his articulation. Let's start with the head. So the head is on a ball joint. You get side to side. It does rotate all the way around. The neck itself can lift up all the way to there. So you can get way up, way down, and he can rotate, and he can look, combine the two to look way down to the side, way up, anything you need. Once you put the shell on there, it does block, you have the dreads here. And I just think it's really cool that they actually gave him dreads for Michelangelo. It's just a cool character idea. But if we come down to the waist here, if you lift up this panel, which you do have to lift before you do the ab crunch, you can see all that detail under there, which you won't see once you put the shell on. So that's why I wanted to show it to you now. It's really quite gorgeous. Just very impressive. So now let's put the shell on. You can just kind of lift up on the head. And here is the shell. This also beautifully detailed, light brown, dark brown. This light gray, TMNT, NYPD, New York. I love New York. I love that they did that on the shell. It's so cool. Gold. Really, really beautiful. It does have die cast in it. It's part plastic, part die cast. This will just plug in right here, nice and secure on his back, and that looks really good. It does limit the head upwards movement a little bit because now the hair collides with that shell, but it still works pretty well. So really impressive. Let's continue down with the articulation. The shoulders have a giant butterfly joint, so it actually pulls outwards. By the way, I recommend not holding your thumb here when you're articulating, because this piece is, you know, kind of a delicate piece. I'd recommend holding up here. But you can pull this out. You can see how that joint came out. And then you can use that butterfly. It gets you all the way to there. It's one of the best butterflies I've seen on a die-cast figure. All right, you can actually put that back in. Just look where you're going and get that back in there. This shoulder pad's on a ball joint and a hinge, so you can rotate it. It can go up and down, and you can hinge it in and out. On this, it's on a double hinge. So you can get this all the way out, and then you can bring it back. And it's a little tricky to get it stored back, but that's how it looks. Let's lift it up so you can see what's under here. You can see there's a nice big die-cast joint. In fact, all the joints are die-cast. Shoulder goes up to there. Rotates all the way around. Everything is nicely tolerant. Nothing is too tight or too loose, which is hard to get with die-cast joints. Sometimes it's hard to get the tolerances right. Rotation at the bicep. You have a double jointed elbow with a cover down piece, so I'll just show you from the back. Here's that arm. As you rotate it out, you get this elbow pad exposed, and if you keep going past to the double joint, you have this exposed piston. Very, very cool. One of the best. I haven't seen a lot like that other than like 3-0 or Flame Toys. That's really one of the best I've ever seen. Coming to the hands, you have a rotation at the wrist around the cuff. So the cuff is actually what's rotating. The hand goes in and out for a dice roll. The fingers are individually articulated. So they have 1, 2, 3 pins on each. So you can bend the fingers all the way down. You can bend them back. You can splay them out. And the thumb is the same. You can open them up and splay them out. So you can get a superhero pose with this because the hand can go flat and out. Really just amazing articulation there for that hand. Coming down to the waist, I showed you, you do lift up on this. That'll get you down to there. And then there's another one at the lower joint. The lower one is a little bit less, but you get a little bit out of that lower one. But the upper one is where you get all of it. You get side to side on the upper one. So you get the teapot. And then you get a rotation here. This is a very tight, this is the only one I would say that's actually a little bit too tight. Oh, by the way, before we go on, if you have the ab crunch engaged, you can bend that down. I don't think I've ever seen a design like that on a turtle, which I just love that they thought that through. And there's detail as you articulate it, there's detail inside the shell. That's just beautiful. So yeah, you get a waist rotation. If we come down to the legs, you can lift the leg up, but you can see it might collide. So what they've done is you can move this piece down, and then you can get this thigh all the way up to there before it starts to collide. So that's really smart. Really, really smart stuff. To the back, this is a very nicely tolerant joint as well. A little bit squeaky, but it works. To the back, you can get, let's see how far can we go. Up to there. Out to the side, also on friction. This is a very heavy leg. It's all die cast, so impressive that it holds it just fine. And it's tolerance beautifully. Rotation at the thigh around a universal. The knee is double jointed and has 4 moving pieces. So you'll see it when I do it, but this thigh is going to move, this knee piece is going to move, and this shin piece is going to move as you bend the knee. So you can see that moved. This separated, and then that piece came out, and then moved with the lower leg. Really one of the most amazing leg joints, knee joints I've seen. Just outstanding. For the foot, you have forward and backward, side to side tilt. If you bring the foot down, you can't bend up on the front of the foot, and then the toes can articulate individually. Again, first time I've ever seen something like that. All right, now he does have a few built-in gimmicks before we get into any of the accessories. You have this opening panel here and a nice Gatling gun hidden underneath there, painted and detailed. That's pretty cool. And again, I wouldn't recommend holding there. Hold here on the chest or here below this piece right here. You have a light up gimmick in the head, but first let's take a look at this head. It's just gorgeous. Really, really nice. If you see at the top, there's a little slot right there on the side of his skull on each side. So if you pull up on that, you can actually lift up on the neck and then pull up on that piece and that'll remove. It looks like this, and there's two LR621s in there that I installed. And if you use this magnet, you can turn that light on. So let's get that back in the head and then we'll show you what that looks like. All right, so I've got the lights turned off. So if you just bring this close to here, it'll light up. The crest lights up a little bit too, but I love that. That just looks great. Really nice, sleek looking eyes. Very comic style. If you hit it again, you'll get the fading, they call it breathing eyes. But it fades in and out. And then you do it one more time, that'll turn it off. And if we come to the back here, there's a gimmick built into the shell. So you're going to get a fingernail right under here, these little divots right here, and you're going to pull out on that piece. Same on this side. And then you're going to open up this shell. You can actually lift up the head just to get the dreads out of the way. And then you can lift up this on a double hinge. On inside there's a double hinge. And in here is a cockpit. So it's actually a mutagen can if you turn it this way. It looks like a mutagen can from the show. If you turn it this way, there's a little seat there for a pilot. And this is like such a cool little feature, but it does come on a sprue like this, but you'll see there's some other parts here. So I just want to explain that really quick. I'm not going to actually assemble it, but here is what you end up building. So each turtle, you get some parts. So this is number 3, so we get the interior of the turtle van. But you actually get 2 colors. You get the translucent green and you get the gray. So you can build, I think you're going to end up building 2 vans, a translucent green van and then a regular one. But you can see on there, there's a little sitting Michelangelo. And I've already taken this one off the sprue. I'm not going to take the rest off. Not my figure, so I'm not going to do it. But you do get a little display figure too here. So you can display Michelangelo as well. Very neat. And here's the smaller translucent green Michelangelo. And you can put him in that truck actually that you're going to build, the TMNT party van. Or you could put him right here. I just thought that was the coolest thing. He's got a little Michelangelo piloting Mecha Michaelangelo. So that's really it for the built-in gimmicks. Let's go over the accessories, and there is a lot here. So I'm going to try to move relatively quickly through the accessories. But first off, we get a display stand, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It says Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It looks like a sewer cover. So smart. There's a little cavity here so you can store accessories in there if you want to. I really dig this. I think this is beautiful. So you can put this cover back on, and then you'll see there's a little port right here, and that will accept either of these columns. These are die cast metal, painted black, and these will screw into here. Make sure you're not cross-threading because it's metal into plastic. Looks like that. And then you can take this piece right here, and this will plug in here. And this is very firm. And by the way, there's another one if you want him up at an angle. This one will kind of display him upwards. I'm going to put him straight for now, but if you want to, you can put him up. Right, that's what it looks like. You're going to come to the back here, and right here, you'll see there is a little panel that we're going to remove. And that will expose a little slot for this to fit on. So there you go. Now you can use that. The shell comes on top, so if you're worried about that, it just sits right on top. So no problems, no issues there. But now you can mess with him without worrying about knocking him over or whatever. And he is very heavy. He's really a heavy figure, a lot of die cast. So I do recommend using the stand as you're posing or as you're adding the accessories on, just so that you have a little bit of support. But now you can put him in some really dynamic poses using the stand. So let's start taking a look at some of the accessories. First off, you get this piece right here, which is a adapter for the backpack. If you lift up his head, you'll see there's a little panel. You can lift up on this panel. Whoops. And it is die cast. This is a heavy die cast piece. Just pulls right out of here. And then you can take that and replace it with this and just give that a push down until it sits nicely. And then you're going to bring in these little adapter pieces, and these will attach right here onto the side of this backpack. And these are very firm fit, so you kind of have to, rotate it on, give it a little bit of juice to get it on there. And same on this one, just put both of these on here. It could be a little bit tight. Well, there you go. And that'll allow you to attach these guns, which are beautifully sculpted and painted. I really like how these are done. Orange, blue, yellow. The barrel does roll. And it's just a beautiful looking gun. I thought maybe it would open up or do something else, but I don't think it has any additional features. But if you look at here, there's a little slot and there's a tab here, so you can get that attached right there. And we can do the same thing on the other side. And now you have that look, and you can rotate these up or down, angle them however you like. But I really dig how that looks. Right? You can also do more with this backpack, this adapter piece here. You have these missiles painted and detailed nicely. It says NYC in that tagged, graffiti style, TMNT-03 Michaelangelo. Little tampos, white paint, silver paint, black paint, all very nice. It does have opening fins, so you can have this. It's just a lot going on for a little missile, but there's a little slot right here, and there's a tab on the back of this backpack piece, so you just plug that in right there. And then same for the other side, just plug that in. Everything fits nicely, everything's toleranced to not fall off, but now you have that look. I really like how that looks. But there's another option for those missiles. Me personally, my personal preference is I like them up there. But if you don't, you can take those off. And again, you don't have to have any of these weapons if you don't want to. You can take these, and he comes with this adapter. And you have two pieces that are going to fit into the arm. So I recommend putting them onto this piece before you put it on his arm. But basically you're going to attach this here. So it looks like that. And this is going to attach to the back of the arm. Kind of like that. And then you're going to take this piece here, and this is going to attach in his hand as a handle. Okay. So you get this, come to the back of the arm here, and you'll see there's a little panel right here. You're going to pull out that panel just like we did for the stand. And then this is going to plug in right here. And it is side specific, so make sure you have the right side. It looks like that, so you know which side. But you're going to rotate this up so that the handle ends up in the hand. And then we can close the fingers around. And now he's got that. And you can take these missiles and attach them here. And like I said, my personal preference is to have it on the backpack, but you can do this. To me, it looks like a pontoon, which is why I don't like it, but you can also open these up if you want. I prefer the other look, but this is an option if you want it. We can also, more weapons, of course. Grab these adapter pieces. And they weren't rotated like this, so you want them like this, with the tab facing in, and then this up here. And in the book, they showed this bent back, but this joint is so tight, I'm afraid to bend it and break it, but in theory, you can bend this back more. But this is going to plug in right here on the side of the shell. There's no cover on that one, it's just open. You can plug that in there. And then we're going to grab these missile pods. And you want to have the right side, but this is going to attach right here. There's a slot on the bottom. It's going to plug into that armature we just attached. And then you can open up this, and now he's got those missiles ready to fire. And this will angle in and out, and you can rotate. You know, you can do whatever you want. Right, so you can go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Some other weapons similar to those, little missile launchers like this. These actually do push up, and I've already inserted these, but these little missiles can be removed. I'm not really sure what you would do if you took this out. Like, I guess you could put it on a stand or something, but I don't think that's necessary. I would just have it like this. And then you're going to take this adapter piece right here. That's going to plug into here. And then this will plug into the side of the leg. And again, here, let's do this side so you can still see. There's a small panel. Looks like right here. So if you pull from right here with your nail, you can pop off that panel. But it is a little tricky. It'll only fit back one way, so make sure you put it back correctly. But this will tab in that knee spot right there. We'll do the same thing on this side. All right, and now we have those missiles as well. And he's pretty armed up, but there's more. So we also get his classic weapon here, the nunchucks, painted beautifully, orange, gray, silver, and then it's got an actual metal chain. There is a tab slot in here that will tab into a tab on his hand. Right? And then you could put the other one in the other hand or whatever you want to do. But I just think this is really cool. You can also take this and store it if you prefer. So it comes with these adapter pieces. And you can take the nunchucks and just plug them into here. And then this will plug in on his belt, utility belt right here. And you can have that look. And he does come with two, of course. So we can do the same thing on the other side. All right, so there it is with both nunchucks installed. And before we forget, we do have some headgear for him. He gets this set of really cool headphones. Michelangelo's a party dude, so he likes to party, so he wants some music. You can get this, just fits over his ears like that. He also comes with sunglasses or a visor, whatever you want to think of it as. These have a little tab point back here. So it actually fits onto his head and kind of locks in place. Just make sure you get those tabs on. And now you have that visor or sunglasses. And the last accessory is this Gatling gun. And you're going to use the same attachments you used on this thing for this. So you have this one that's going to go under the arm, and then you have this one that's going to go into the hand. I recommend rotating it down first. Come to the back, remove this panel, and at this point you should have 4 of these, right? You have 2 for the arms, 2 for the legs, and then 1 for the butt, which is where the stand is going. And then we have 1 for the die-cast one for the shell. So you'll have 6 total panels. All right, but same thing, we're going to attach this to the back of his arm first. And then we can rotate this up and get this into his hand. And then close the fingers around. And now he's got this badass Gatling gun. It's just, wow, look at the detail on there. New York, NYPD, TMNT-03, lots of tampos, details, caution tape. look there. I mean, gorgeous. But that's not it. It actually works as a Gatling gun. So you need to put batteries in. They're LR44s. They go on the inside. I probably should have shown you that before I put it on his arm. But you can take the magnet again, touch it to the top here. Incredible. Just so cool. And you can touch it again to stop it. Now to get those batteries in, I guess I should have shown you that before I put it on. Come to the bottom here. There's a panel right here. You just pull that panel off and you'll see there's 3 LR44s in there. So final recommendations on the HeatBoys TMNT Mecha Michaelangelo. I think you guys know what I'm going to say. This is a 5 out of 5. Strongly recommend. I think this is an absolutely phenomenal figure. The accessories all work. Everything stays and doesn't fall off. The articulation is top notch. I don't think I've handled anything that has better articulation than this. It's really, really up there. I really like the options and some of the little play features, like the hidden guns and the light up eyes, the little detail of the pilots hiding in the shell. All that stuff is just very cool. The automatic Gatling gun, which I took off for this because I wanted a more classic pose. That's even another cool thing, is you can actually display it with a more classic look if you want. You could just take all this stuff off and have his nunchucks and be done with it. So you really get a lot of flexibility and choice on how you want to display him. But the only criticism I really have is the dreads on the back of the head do get in the way a little bit. They do collide here with some of the backpack, but because of the neck articulation, you can just work around it. So it's not really a big criticism. But that's really it. I don't have any criticism. This is an absolutely phenomenal figure. If you're a fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or just a fan of big mech robots that are fun to mess with, absolutely, this is one to get. Me personally, I'm going to try to get the Donatello because that's my favorite character. I'm just waiting for them to put that up for pre-order. But thanks to Tim for sending this out for review. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.